And welcome to more conversations with the average black man. I am Timotheus with my co-host Morphine.
Welcome. We back at it again. Here to cover some things, man. We're gonna cover the election today. I hope y'all ready for it. The thoughts, the opinions, the facts, the feelings.
And all that jazz. So pretty much, we waiting on these polls to wind down and get to closing. We tracking the whole get down right now. They got Trump at where my man is at. Trump is at 160 projected. Who gonna take it? Kamala, Trump. We still got a lot more polls to close. We got a lot more going on. Who gonna take
but
it?
so
It's early on
far,
now. Yeah.
in the early reports,
Looks like the Senate is gonna turn. Looks like the Senate is turning red. We might let's see. Let's see what the House of Republican representatives is. They look like it's leaning red too. If have a Republican president and a Republican Congress, you know what that means? That means everything that Trump want to get done will get done.
That part. No.
Either way, I don't care. That's my stance.
I'm gonna support the decision that the people make, and the people is making. I'm a big supporter in the decision that our people are making, and if y'all want Kamala or Trump, I'm gonna support that. I'm gonna talk my shit, but I'm gonna support that. Hopefully we got some people coming up. We're gonna put them links out in the YouTube sphere, and we're gonna get some people up here, and they're gonna give their opinions of how this election thing is going. The election watch party.
Yeah, I'm putting the links out right now. Yes, you dropping the link in places too?
Absolutely.
Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, everybody just bear with us. All the followers and watchers, thank you for tuning in. If you want to come onto the panel and discuss, we're putting the link in the chats right now. The links are in the
I'm
chat.
putting the link out right now. And also got to drop some things on YouTube, on Facebook, as far as people to come watch the live, because we're not allowed to share
Yeah,
our
post.
live on
Yeah,
Facebook no more. You know what I
Facebook
mean?
is on that. Facebook is on that. Blah blah blah.
They doing us dirty, man. They doing us dirty.
Yeah, they on that malarkey. They on that malarkey. Malarkey. Yes, let me go ahead and put this up on the screen for the viewers. Kampala looks like the country is turning red. Looks like the country is going red. I don't know how y'all feel about that. It don't make me know. Never mind. The world's gonna still go on. Life is gonna still go on.
If
World
you
is
ask
still.
me, the world is still going to go on. So people are going to feel some type of way. I mean, I heard a lot of different people asked about on the news whether I was watching what is it ABC or Fox or whatever, and I was hearing a lot of I guess you would say they news anchors, they newscasters asking the politicians real questions about the women vote and how they feel about abortion rights and how do they feel about a lot of the things that women are concerned with. But I think the top one was the Roe versus Wade situation
The
and
number
how
one issue.
ladies just not,
No, that
fucking
was
with
the
that.
number three. That was number three main issue. The number one main issue was the state of democracy, which is
Oh
dumb as
yeah, the
hell
state of
because
democracy. Yeah.
the state of democracy was number one. Number two was the economy and inflation. Number three is women's reproductive rights. Those are the top three issues that people have been having when it comes to these election and the direction in which they're voting. And we're seeing right now, everything is turning red. So that gives you an idea of how people want to vote and how people feel about democracy. They feel like Trump is going to protect their democracy and Republicans are going to protect their democracy because they're winning the House, they're winning the Senate, and it looks like the presidential spot is in the lead as well.
I mean, he's getting what he wanted. If the project 2025 was real, and it has some type of what is it, validity of it all. This will be the first start of it all. People. The first start would be um him getting people in the seats that he won. The administration being red is what he would want to go for. But so far as these numbers are coming out, for what I'm seeing, it's looking mighty red. It's looking mighty red. I don't see a blue. It's a hint of blue. It's like a sprinkle. Like how the women say sprinkle, sprinkle. It's a sprinkle of blue in this zone. But the trajectory still going red.
Indeed.
All right, so I'm about to start sharing the actual post. That'd be very useful. If you share the link in groups and let the people come and join you.
Let
I
the
think it was
people.
easier for social media to come join us when they could just click on it. Facebook to watch it, but now
Right.
now they have to click on YouTube, which helps our
Yeah,
algorithm on the long run. You know,
but it makes it more difficult for the Facebook community to be involved, which I think is whack,
right?
tastic, super whack.
That- Super whack,
So yeah, anybody that
corny.
anyone that's watching, you guys watching and you want to come in, the link is in the comments. Link is in the comments.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So look, so far, look, Trump then jumped up to 168. He has a huge lead over Kamala, and a lot of
Like I said, I'm.
Republican
Well,
governors are being elected so far too. Looks like the whole country might be going red. People, looks like the whole country might be going red.
yeah, talking about Senate, the Senate looking red. Yeah, I mean, governors of different cities. I mean, I'm sorry, different states
States
is
going red.
looking mighty looking mighty red. Is looking mighty. It's looking like blood out here. You know.
Bumbo clot man.
It's looking like blood diamonds.
Right, man. They look like black people be
I'm just saying,
black
people,
people out
man.
here
I'm just
watching
saying,
the
people.
elections like they're the NBA finals out here. You know, anybody want to come on and join the panel? Come on, come on, come on, come on.
It fucked up our visibility. Our visibility. All right, so I just shared it amongst some of the lively groups, amongst the lively groups and things of that nature.
Right. Absolutely.
But it's looking mighty red, man. It's looking mighty red. At 34, 168 right now. 51, 46.
Yeah.
America, are
52,
you ready
46.
for a female president anyway?
It's,
Are y'all ready for
it's
y'all
not
not ready
looking
for
that
y'all?
way.
It's not looking that
It's
way.
not looking that way at all. It's not looking that way at all. It's looking real red.
I got some things to say about this. I think the only way that Trump be winning is if he's against a woman. I think him personally should feel a way about that. But this is his last 4 years. If he if
Yeah.
the Project
If he can get
2024
it,
isn't real, but if the Project
it's
2024 is real, then this is not his last 4
2025.
years. Like,
Project 2025. Project 2025.
yeah, I'm sorry, 2025. If Project 2025 is real, this might not be his last 4 years. It might be the beginning of some shit we ain't ready for. But don't say that is all rhetoric. Man, this is his
Yeah.
last four
Well,
years. He better end it
we,
with a buzang.
we don't know what exactly may just happen when he gets in here. Okay, let's see. We got welcome to the stage, Percy.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome.
All right, we on here just looking at these numbers, bro. Man, it looks like the country is going red, brother. Look like the country is going red. You got any thoughts on that? Because I don't care.
You already know I don't care. But hey, we do live in a republic. There's no such thing as a democracy in the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence. So I guess the country's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Come on, people. Come up on the panel and let us know your thoughts, your opinions. What are you thinking? How you thinking this election is going? Come and watch this watch party. Give us your opinions. Whether you care, whether you don't care. That's all right. We here.
Right. We here, people. We gonna watch these numbers roll and these numbers turn in, man. So I'm gonna just say it and get it out the way. I'm gonna stir the pot. Maybe go ahead and get me a big old spoon and stir this pot
Yes.
right now. So what's gonna happen in the black community come tomorrow is that the black man is gonna be the enemy. If she don't win tonight, ain't nobody getting no coochie. It was said it's all the black man's fault. And I'm just gonna call it the way I see it. Goddamn. Don't shoot the
Well,
messenger.
to
That's just my
piggyback on that, to fuck with that scab a little bit more, I will say it's ironic that you said that, because when they were talking about the female and the male vote, they were saying that that was the real war at the center of this situation. How Trump will have more of the male vote, and Harris will have more of the female vote, and how women were the women representatives on the news, whether she was on Fox or NBC, ABC, you name them, LMNOP, don't matter. She was saying that she had all the hopes in women that they were going to stand in these long lines. They were going to stand in these long lines at the polls. At the polls, and they were going to cast their vote, and it seems like that was it's not working, or those votes that you thought you was going to get are really Trump votes. Yeah. She lied to you, bro. She didn't vote for who she said she was.
Well, I can say like this, Tim. I put like this, man. You dead on, because I was trying to get something this morning and couldn't get none. Cause I had to go vote.
You said I don't vote, and like, well, you can't have any. If you ain't gonna vote, you can't have any. And if you do vote, you better vote for Kamala, or you can't have any.
Yep.
Shit, never know who you voted for. I would have voted. Got some coochie. Yeah, baby, I voted for her.
Yeah, I'm looking up some projection maps right now, and man, woo, it's a lot of red in these maps, man. It's a lot of red in these maps as the time zones move across the map and these polls get to closing. Man, it's a lot of red in these maps, man. See this is powerful. This is a powerful thing because this is the most divided election that we've seen, and it's really it's like Hillary Clinton. This is a very sexist election, and this is basically boiling down to a battle of men versus women. So the overall implications that this is going to prove,
that's what they were saying on the news today.
Right, but the overall implications that this is going to prove, because Kamala Harris has like 90% of the women's vote, is this is going to prove that even if all women vote in one direction, they don't have the power to put someone in office by themselves.
Without men.
This is a rough thing. This will be rough. This will be rough. So right now they have it projected at, let me see what they have on this particular map I'm looking at right now. See, that map right there isn't reading what Google Associated Press is reading. They're projecting Associated Press is projecting Kamala at 99 and Trump at 178. So they have him like pretty much halfway there.
Trump about to be the new president.
Well, not new.
Trump about to be no, he about to be a president again. Yeah,
and it's I'm looking at the voting numbers, and they're only off by a couple million. So don't be surprised if there's going to be some recounts. There's definitely going to be some recounts. Definitely going to be some recounts.
You know the funniest thing about that?
You remember when, what was that, 2000?
2000, when they had that discrepancy with Al Gore and George W. Bush, when they had that thing in Florida. So I was like just revisiting that this morning, And I was like listening to what George Bush was saying when he was still governor. And so what they were saying that what they were doing is that when you voted locally and you marked like black or whatever, and then when you went to go vote for the president, if you didn't put that same thing, that your vote didn't count.
Oh wow. Hold on. Said it again slow. Your vote
So
didn't count if you marched, your vote wouldn't count.
like you know how you have your local government, then you vote for the president, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you put like your status on voting for the local government and you didn't put the same status as you were voting for the president, your vote doesn't count. That was that whole discrepancy. What they found that loophole, and that's why the black vote didn't count in Florida.
So if you voted local government blue and then you voted president red, your vote didn't count.
No, if you didn't put like your status, like black, white, you know what I mean, like Latino or whatever the hell.
Okay. And if anybody watching, if you want to join the live, click the link in the comments. You can come on the panel with us and put your 2 cents in. That's wild. So that's how they.
Think the link, the link in below.
Disenfranchise the vote. That's how they disenfranchise the vote. That's crazy. That's another way of voter suppression. What they've been talking about now about voter suppression. Anybody watching want to join the panel? Just click the link in the comments. They talk about it. They've had a few people call in bomb threats. They reported earlier that the FBI was investigating online social media videos and posts telling people that due to security purposes, they needed to vote remotely. And that's not even a real thing. There is no such thing as voting remotely. So there has been a lot of voter suppression and interference that's been taking place. And it's mostly affecting a lot of the younger new first-time voters because these people spend a lot of time, these young voters spend a lot of time on social media, and they're very easily influenced and are impressionable to a lot of these things that are posted online. So they see these types of videos and they believe them because they think they're real. It's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And I think we lost Percy.
Yeah. I don't know if this one is actually predicting the right numbers right now. More so, because I got it on the television, and then I got 2 screens open right now, and I'm like, wow, these are. So it's a lot to keep up with. Which one is
Anybody watching
with
want to
the
join
live
the panel?
polls?
Put the links in the comments.
Which like
Anybody want to join the panel? Click the link in the comments. You can come on up and
so
we can have a discussion on how you feel about this.
Well, what you think how the women are going to feel once or if Trump wins?
I just blatantly express how I think the women are gonna feel. The women gonna blame men. That's just my personal opinion. That's just my personal opinion.
We got Percy there.
Yeah, he had a phone call. I think
Now, what happened if Harris win? How you think the men are going to feel? So, what are the men going to feel like? You know, they're going to want to leave the country. Everybody going to want to buy their passports and shit. Are we going to have real wars and all that other propaganda that was going around on the social medias and in these because we always in these social media streets. This is where we be at. We be in these social media streets. So you think that If she wins, you guys, if she wins, do you think there are going to be a lot of fruition coming towards us with these bomb threats and these first president that would be deleted and because would it be a real threat to our country if this woman wins, man?
I don't necessarily think it'll be a threat to our freedoms.
Timothy.
I don't think it'll be a threat to our democracy. Anybody watching, click the links, join the panel. I honestly, I think if Kamala wins, I think a lot of men are going to have to deal with a stronger feminist wave that men already feel encumbered by now. Because there's a slogan that says the future is female. So, it, like I said earlier, I think if she loses, men are going to be to blame, and if she wins, women are going to stand hand in hand and rejoice and say, "This is the power of women. We don't need men. The women are now the rulers of the free world, and we can do any." Either way, I can see it being negative towards men. I can see if she loses, it's it's because of men. It's men's fault she loses. If she wins, it's
Mm-hmm.
see men, look at woman. I am woman, hear me roar. We can do anything without you. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I just think it'd be a less quieter um, resistance for women than it would be for men. I think the men wouldn't resist or accept that win the way that women would have to. Like women wouldn't have no choice but to acquiesce. But men, on the other hand, I think it'd be a lot of pullback, a lot of anguish, a lot of anger. Shit. Like guys is gonna
Well,
go up in riots if this woman wins. I'm
what
trying to tell you.
well, you see, I'm a person that actually looked at the policy, and anybody who is like concerned about the economy should have paid attention to their economic and tax plans. Because if you're a W-2 employee and you wanted to have the best return as a W-2 employee, have the better tax breaks, tax benefits, have wage protection and things like that, you wanted to go with Kamala. But if you're a business owner and you wanted breaks in that department, lower interest rates, no taxation on overtime wages and things like that, you wanted to go Trump. So, but then if you have issues with more social issues like the LGBTQI plus community, if you have issues with that, you want to go red. If you're pro that, you want to go blue. With when it comes down to reproductive rights, this issue for me is not really a big deal because I'm not a woman, but the overturning of Roe v. Wade didn't abolish the right to not to terminate a pregnancy. It just made it up to the individual states, and that is in the Constitution. That is absolutely constitutional. And for example, I live in California. California decided to not be an open carry state. Other states are open carry state, and California has the right to say I don't want to be open carry, just like other states have the right to say we want to be open carry. And it goes all the way down even into the trivial. There are some states where you can't even turn right on a red light. In California, you can make a right turn on a red light. In some states, you cannot turn right on a red light. That's running the traffic light. So it just, when it comes down to like Roe v. Wade, it's the same thing. In some states, they permit that you can have reproductive rights based on whatever criteria that they put in place, and in other states, it's more free and open, and that's it within the Constitution. I don't see an issue with there at all. Percy, you got anything to say?
Um, yay and nay, but I'll just say this: that how can which way I can say it? I put like this: like from if she's president or when she was vice president, however it is, she had power during her vice presidency, and she didn't really do anything. So I don't know what people are expecting her to do during if she becomes president. Second, um, it's like president is only the head of the executive branch. There's other two branches of the government that most people don't even talk about. They don't even really understand. Um, I don't know. Like to me, it's just like it's so many topics that besides the right ones that people are talking about, like the how you were saying, like the man versus the woman dynamic. That's to me, it's like what's really the point? Like I don't really understand that at all. Like maybe because I haven't been following none of this political stuff. Like I don't.
Well, I actually do follow it, and a lot of it, I get told that I have male bias, and that's probably true because I am a guy. But like under this thing, under this whole argument with this with Trump and all of that, like Trump is saying there is no wage gap. It's a myth, and that's actually true. But there are some women that'll say no, there is a wage gap. Men make more money than women, and it's like common sense is like, well, if I'm a billionaire, millionaire, whatever, and I'm greedy, I'm a greedy corporation, and corporations are the enemy because they're greedy, and we just want to pay as little as we can and make as much profits as possible. If I could legally pay women less than men, why would I ever hire men? It just doesn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean? Anybody want to join the panel, please click the link below. And it just doesn't make sense. So when it comes to this whole gender argument, like it's just nitpicky to me, in my personal opinion, because this idea that men and women are the same is different. Everybody has their own strengths and strong points, and that's just what it is. Women are good at whatever they're good at, men are good at whatever they're good at, and that's just okay. It's okay. It's okay. And a lot of people don't want to admit those differences until it comes down to, well, Miss Bam, would you like to work in the sewage department and make really, really good money, six figures working in sewage? No, she don't want to work in sewage. Okay, so where's the problem? If there's more men that work in sewage, then there's going to be more men that make more money than women. If you don't want to go down into the sewer and be in literal dookie, then what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Same with the electrical stuff. How many women do you see going up the telephone pole? How many female electricians do you see? How many female bricklayers do you see? These are all good exterminators.
I mean,
these are all really well trained.
Listen, you don't. We have women and men go towards their own career field that is more geared to what's best for them, what's best in a skill set, right? Whether it's nursing, whether it's whatever. However, in all fields, no matter if women are in these fields or not, in all fields, from culinary all the way to the medical field, men outnumber us in these situations. They just do. And at this point, it is what it is.
That's not
they
true.
Just outnumber us in these situations. So
no, there's more women doctors than male doctors. There's more women nurses than male nurses. There's more in the whole medical field and care field together.
I don't think there's female
dominated industry. That's a care, medical and care is a female dominated industry. It just is the same way. Exterminators, like I'm an exterminator.
Is that an opinion or is that more like an effect? Is that more of an opinion or a fact? Like, is there?
It's a fact. Women, when it comes to healthcare, women outnumber men. I'm talking about the overall spectrum from all the way down from nurses to physicians assistants to doctors. There are more women than there are men.
Doctor, surgeon, specialist, or
Mhm.
mostly women. I don't know about that. I will argue that, but my point was, or I will go back to my point, is that we're outnumbered in all of these fields. So it wouldn't make it wouldn't make a difference anyway. I don't think that's a good argument to say like, okay, you guys make more than us when they outnumber us in these jobs. So if you count all their money versus our money that we get collectively, they would make more. They would make more than we would. That's neither here nor there.
Right. And that but
As
that's
long
and
as
that's
you're
the
not paid, if as long as
bigger
when I
point.
get to work and I'm about to do the same shit you're doing, you're not paying me less because I'm a female, I don't care. Like, I don't care.
All right, a political update. The next set of polls closed at the time zone line is moving. The next set of polls close in 9 minutes. We're gonna get an update on the standing of the election in the next 9 minutes. But what you're saying is absolutely true. When you look at the overall number, there are more men that are making more money than women, but that doesn't constitute there being a pay gap. It's just that men tend to take jobs that pay more because they're, air quote specialty jobs. Like I mentioned before, how many women are going up the telephone pole? How many women are going in the sewer? Doing, you know what I'm saying? That type of stuff.
None,
So that's your
none of
argument
you.
that men, there's more men being in these high risk jobs that pay more. So that's where most of the pay gap come from. Okay, and all right, listen, let's move on. I don't think that's a good argument for women to have. I don't think the pay gap is a good argument for women to have. It's just it's
Now, what about
irrelevant.
so if we're gonna talk about the major issues in this election, uh, that would be the state of democracy, the economy, and
Yeah.
reproductive rights.
Yeah. That's the things that stand out the most. I think for the men, I said this on a post before. I said all these guys is, especially in the relationship groups, talking about policies that I don't even think that's on the books. I don't even think that these type of politicians care about that. Especially the only thing that I could really comes to mind is the abortion stuff. I mean, they're not reforming child support laws. Like they're not really doing that. So I guess for certain conversations in our field of YouTube, it just doesn't connect, in my opinion, for you to vote off that.
Man, the problem with a lot of these elections, with this election in particular, in my opinion, is that there are a lot of uninformed individuals. And these uninformed individuals are casting their votes based on their uninformed minds having no information. And that's a dangerous thing. Like I live in the state of California, and whether I decided to vote or not, it don't matter because the state of California is gonna vote blue. Period. It's not, it don't it's just what it is. California is gonna be blue. If I go out there and vote red, green, yellow, party, all the third party, whatever, it matters not because the state is gonna go blue. Don't matter who.
Mm.
It could be Marvin the Martian running as a Democrat, and California is gonna vote for Marvin the Martian.
I mean, do we think that that's how all states are? Is one going to follow the other? Whatever the popular vote is what's going to happen.
With the exception of the battleground states that have more independent and undecided voters. And this actually, that's something that's been shown in this election, is that this election has proven that have been more independent, non-affiliated voters in the history of voting in this country, and that's what makes this election so pivotal. Now, what I wish they would show on some of these major news networks, I wish they would show the split in the third party. I wonder how many votes Jill Stein got. I wonder how many votes Cornel West got. You know what I mean?
I mean, you ain't never lied. Like they're not. They only the campaign is only surrounded by the two parties that been promoted the most. But the third parties, I think one of the ladies in the bad chat, shout out to her. Tiff said that they don't get enough notoriety. So yeah, they're not on every ballot box around the country. They only in certain areas, so that's a disadvantage.
All right. So this is a perfect example of the vote being split, and I'm a break my screen share for just a second to pull this up right here. So let me see. Can I zoom in? All right, boom. Let me zoom in. So here are the third party candidates. So Jill Stein, which was the favorite, has 262,666 votes. So they are actually splitting the Democratic vote. If these votes would have gone to Kamala, she would possibly be up, because there's 250,000 for Jill Stein, there's 250,000 for Chase Oliver, there's nearly 250,000 for Robert Kennedy. So that's 2, 4, 6. That's about 700. That's about 700,000 votes. That are splitting the vote right now. This is proof that a two-party system is flawed. This is proof that a two-party system is flawed right here. And then for all the other write-in candidates and everything, there's 125,000 votes. So there's about 700,000 votes to third-party candidates, which is huge. That's a huge thing. And had these people not split the vote, because Green Party, Libertarians, and independents tend to go Republican, but had Green Party and Libertarian had voted Democrat, there's a possibility, I'm not saying this is anything with certainty, that the Kamala could be in the lead. Shout out to the comments. Shout out to Evandra Owens. If you want to come on the panel, click the link in the comments. Come out on
all you got to do is have a nice little picture. You can come up here. Don't have to be on camera if you don't want to show your likeness.
You don't want to show your face. You don't have to show your face.
You know, it's funny. I totally forgot about Cornel West running for president. That's kind of impossible when you think about it. So that's like a major distraction. Just look at the 14th Amendment and see what's that? What's his name? Scott versus Sanford.
Yeah.
So that was impossible for him to become president. Like, that's crazy.
Well, how would it be impossible for him?
If you know the court case, you will know that there's no rights to descendants of slaves.
Right. But she's claiming to have that right. She's claiming to be partially half black.
No, she's where?
I said she's claiming it. Her father is Jamaican and Irish.
Okay.
She's claiming it.
So are those descendants of slaves?
The only way the only Afro Jamaicans came from slavery
in the United States.
Well, Jamaica is technically not the United States, but yeah. So I dig the loophole that you're saying.
So like in that case, you gotta look, man. It's all this shit trickery, bro. Like, there's a bunch of nonsense. Smoking guns. It's just to divide, get to see what distract people because there's no real topics. Like there's needs to be talked about is not talked about. They put stuff that I put it this way: people love to be lied to. People buy lies because they don't want to face the facts. They much rather accept a lie before they'll accept the truth, and that's exactly what's going on here. All this is a big lie. That's my opinion, though.
For the
That's a big
Evandra,
ass opinion, Percy.
for Evandra in the comments, just click the link that's in the comments and just follow the instructions, and it will bring you to the panel. Yeah, and I agree, Percy, that a lot of it are, just I think it's all sensationalism because there are so many more important issues that are at hand. For example, the tax policies, the state of welfare, social security benefits and things like that actually affect people right now on the ground. But there are people that are focusing in on things like immigration and reproduction. And how is that exactly hurting you directly?
You know the funny thing about immigration? Have you ever seen Title 8 of the U.S. codes?
No, break it down to us.
If you Title 8 of the U.S. code, so pretty much how they have these people coming from other countries, other nations, right? So the U.S. has I'll say like treaties with these other countries. So let's say that people leave from Venezuela and come here to seek asylum, right? So since the U.S. has a treaty with Venezuela, when the people get here, they give them money. That's how we seen it recently. How everybody like, how are these people getting this money? Because for one, they have a nationality, they have a treaty with the United States, and that's how that happens. That's why you see these people coming in, and they're receiving aid, they're receiving housing, they're receiving all these things because that's what's supposed to happen under Title 8. Now, as far as you trying to get that, you can't. Because for one, you're just a citizen. You don't really have a damn nationality. You can't run anywhere and claim
What's interesting about
anything.
Title 8, I'm looking it up right now, and Title 8 covers immigration and nationalization agencies and officers and stations. And I'm going through it, and it says, what's interesting is that Section 100 through 101 has been transferred. It doesn't say where. It says, I can pull this up on the screen if you guys want. It says Section 102 had been repealed in 1952. Section Chapter 477, Title 4 was repealed. Section 103 and 103A is omitted, so we can't even see what that say. And this is the law. This the law where we're supposed to be public knowledge, but they have an omission. Section 104 repealed in 1943. Section 105 repealed in 1952. Sections 106 through 106C repealed in 1940. So what are they repealing? What are they overturning? This is, and they're not even giving a breakdown on what these things are. They're just saying it's repealed. Section 107 repealed in 1966. Section 108 and 109 repealed in 1952. Sections 109A through 109D transferred. It don't say where it was transferred to. It just says transferred. And then matter of fact, let me pull this up on the screen just so people don't think I'm just blowing smoke up their booties. People don't just think I'm blowing smoke up the booties. So where did I leave off?
I was about to say, is it possible to, enlarge that? That was very small.
Yeah. Section 110 repealed in 1952. Don't say what it is. Section 111 transferred where? 12 omitted. There is a little thing where I can view it, but if it's omitted, then what am I viewing? 113 repealed 1952. Section 14 omitted. Section 115 16 repealed. So 17 and 18 omitted. And this is the government's website, y'all. This is not me pulling up some old rinky-dink stuff. This is the government's website. So let me go to one of these that says omitted. I want to know. I want to see exactly what has been omitted. In a different screen pops up. Contains laws in effect. This is rough, bro.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you.
Let the people
Hey,
see
so
it. Let the people see it.
I'm trying to tell you, bro.
Dude, this is all it say under omit. This is what the omitted part comes up. It don't say nothing because it's omitted. Aliens and nationality, immigration subchapter, immigration and nationalization agencies, officers, and stations. What does that mean?
So what it means, black people are aliens. You are not citizens,
No,
right?
But it's
Hold up.
omitted, so we don't know what it
Right.
says.
I'm explaining to you. Like if you have like a law dictionary, you can follow along. There are aliens and there's nationalization, right? You're not nationalized. You're an actual alien. Now this goes to right into when you notice that we're the only people that deal with civil rights. We don't deal with human rights, right? So that was kind of their way of not being how can I say responsible for what atrocities that happen in the US by other nations. So they put it under civil rights, which makes it an in-house type of deal to where the other nations can't come in and say, point a finger at the US and say that you're violating human rights. So that's why we're always only dealing with civil rights.
People is learning here today. But that's been said so many times across the what would you call it? The revolution community. You know, the Marcus Garvey's type people. the Umars, the Malcolm X people, the revolutionaries. So they've been saying that for like since what are we gonna say? We can go back to 1960s. They've been saying that. They've been bringing up these things. They've been having speeches on this shit.
So it's like what we're voting, what they're out there voting for, has really nothing to do with them. The things that it's like it's church. That's what this whole thing is. So you have church and politics supposed to be separate. Why are the politicians going inside the church? One, it's how Tim said earlier. It's sensationalism. It's to just give you something to make you feel good, and you really forget about what's really troubling you until it comes back up. But then you're going to give you something else to make you feel good, and you're going to forget it again. And that's exactly what's happening here. Because none of the issues, nothing Kamala, or however you say it, what is her so-called race? What does your so-called race have to do with anything? Like, because people that look like you don't do anything for you anyway. So what's the whole deal? I don't get it.
That reminds me of something that Dr. Umar was talking about on what was it, the Joe Budden or whatever, and he was saying something about black people issue wasn't classism because it didn't exist or something along those lines. I don't want to say like verbatim what he said quote for quote, but it was along those lines. And like I said, that it just seems like a script that is amongst the revolutionary community, that they all have dug deep or done some type of research when it comes down to the political benefits of the Black Americans, whether it's like pro Africanism, whatever the hell they want to call themselves today.
Yeah, but
FBA, but whatever they
mm,
want to call themselves today. They kind of use some of those talking points.
yeah, they'll use them, but they also won't say other stuff, right? So when they use the term black and all these type of words, those words put you into a place when you have no standing in law. So if you understand, like, let me see, if I can't remember, it might be. Let me think. I can't remember the name of it right now. It'll come to me. But like when you look at the classism that we have here, we have black, white, right? Neither one of those are nationalities. Neither one of those have any. Well, white has more status. It has a correct status. Black doesn't have any status in law. It's like you've been a minority. Minority, you need someone to actually speak for you. When you're not the minority, you're the majority. But it's just the way that we talk and don't really have no one educating us on these certain topics. We just continue. So the ones that are supposed to be teaching us don't teach us. Like I know you guys heard of W.B. Du Bois, right? So W.B. Du Bois, huh? What you say?
Yeah, W.E.B. Du Bois. Yeah, I'm hip.
Yeah. Okay. So when you look at him and what the thing was with Marcus Garvey, right? When you look at what he did, he formed the Boule, which was pretty much to put the buffer between the so-called educated Negroes to keep them away from the Marcus Garvey movement. So like they always will use us to go against us. So it's not anyone else that's doing it. It's like the whole thing, like, oh, is she black or is she not? There's no black people on this fucking earth. I'm sorry to say that. I apologize for my language, but there's no such people. So as long as we keep continuously put ourselves in these classifications, there's nothing for the Constitution. There's nothing, any laws or anything that's going to do anything for us. And then on top of that, we only deal with discrimination. Right now, if you look at this, what is the LB, the letter of the alphabets? If you look at their movement,
LGBTQA
right. If you look at their movement, right, they were fighting for civil.
LGBTQA. Yeah.
However, I don't really pay no attention. But if you look at their movement, right, they went from civil rights, and if you pay attention to what they're moving on to now, they're moving on to human rights. And this is something that we haven't even done as a people because we're so confined and not being educated on anything. For one, they have a flag, which damn near means they going to have their own nationality. You know what I mean? So it's like we're not paying attention to these things. Like we're still stuck on civil rights, which is just discrimination.
You said it best, Percy.
Well, the so-called black community.
But you said it the best. But you let me go back on what you said about the
Marcus Garvey instituted.
What?
No, I was saying that the black community in America has the.
Let me go back on to something that he said.
No, go ahead.
Something that you said when it came across. I'm trying to think about what exactly Percy said when it came down to the human rights versus being stuck on civil rights. One of the things that Pan-Africanism is trying to do is to globally become one race and not try to like have segue races, like only African Americans could be black, or we can only, it has to be amongst our continent. Where you're right, with the LGBTQ, they are globally, they're globally, they're not just they're international. They're not just national, where we just deal with things on a national level. We do not deal with things on an international level. As far as being a human right, I think that the neighboring Black Americans have this thing of individualism that is a hindrance to move on to the next the next step, which will be your human right. And I always said that, like, we talk about how it's not fair for the LGBT to have this or that, or for the feminine movement to have this or that, where you just got to understand how further they move their movement, where the black movement just be real stagnant. So I definitely agree with Percy on that. And I think that is the reason. I mean, that's probably the reason why we're stuck on civil, because we don't want to deal with an African from Ethiopia, or from
A lot,
India, or
nah,
an African
a
that might
lot
be
of
from
why we
fucking
deal with
China, my
civil
nigga.
rights,
Like, they just don't want to
a
affiliate with
lot of
them.
why we still stuck in civil rights is because we have been conditioned to have a victim's mentality. That's my opinion. Because the victim's mentality that we have is so deeply rooted in the lack of our identity that we have, that we don't even want to identify as the culture that we've cultivated here over the last what 300-400 years, and we don't even want to stand on that and declare that as a nation. Which, and you see that in the conscious community. You see people saying
Absolutely.
we're, we're Hebrew Israelites, we're Cometics, we're Moors. They want to be everything but what their ancestors here have cultivated over the last 300-400 years. And when you look at it, we have a whole culture that's here, and that whole culture is rooted in African roots, absolutely. Like the word gumbo is literally, I forget what language, but it's an African word that means okra. It's all gumbo is. It just mean okra. You know what I mean? And it's like the foods we eat come straight from Africa. Like the cuisine we have is African
Hmm.
culture, but the identity that we had from that is so far back and broken that we have reinvented ourselves with
Hmm.
culture through music, uh language, the whole nine. But we want to reject what our grandparents went through, what our great grandparents went through. We want to say F them, and I want to
Absolutely.
be something that I have absolutely no idea what it is. And that's just my personal opinion. I think that's pretty effed up. I think that's some BS.
I want to piggyback on that. I'm gonna tell the viewers. I'm gonna show the viewers what that look like in a regular life. When you're talking about something out of the nation of the notion of slavery or whatever, or you're talking about an inequality of a race, racist or whatever. If somebody, whether it's a black person, 9 times out of 10, I'm really talking about a black person, come up and tell you, well, have you ever experienced racism? Have you ever been in the cotton fields? Have you ever lived that life? Then why are you still talking about it? Now, I will say this: we have come to the point where we can't even acknowledge our history further than just slavery, just our history in Africa, to to the point where if everything that we're taught or everything that we know is just so dismissive right now because of the negatives. You want to be told that you was a super fucking hero instead of the dumb shit that you did. But you know that what the Caucasians or Europeans did wrong, but you don't necessarily want to hold on to your shit, whether it's good or bad, and I think my co-host says that in many of the conversations that we have, whether we're talking about hip-hop, whether we're talking about political values, or just regular moral values, when it comes that what black people re-innovated from African culture, we do not want that anymore. We just keep saying, no, I don't want that. Every generation, no, I want that. No, I don't want that. I don't want it.
But see,
Like, this
but
is crazy, and
there's
people
even a
confuse the wrong
problem.
word.
There's even a problem in that, because like I said, it goes back. It's a deep rooted uh sense of being lost, for a lack of a better term, because in one breath, as a community, we'll say like using like a Sexy Red or something, or somebody like that as an example. I'm just saying the Sexy Red, or just as an example, I just pulled anybody out the air. People, us as a community, will say that's not who we are. That's not us in our culture. Don't associate us with that, because that's BS. That is the lowest of the low. That's not who we are. That's not our culture. But then when the bad baby, the catch me outside little girl come out and do the same thing Ceci Red is doing, then the community want to say, oh, look at that white girl trying to be us. She trying to copy us. So which one is it? Is that not us? Or is it us? Because you when you see yourself doing it, you want to degrade it. But when somebody else does it, you want to covet it now. Oh, this is ours. That's what's
Or they get mad that is what they took. Not they. Let me say that is what Bad Betty took out of the black culture to want to emulate. She didn't want to emulate the doctors, the nurses, and all the other shit that black people may be, but she wanted to emulate that.
We don't associate doctors and stuff like that as culture, because that's just a culture and society. They kind of they run together, but they're separate, you know, because you can be a doctor and be a whole Hindu dude that's an immigrant from India. Your culture is Indian Hindu stuff, but you're just a doctor. Your profession is a doctor. That's not the same as a culture, you know, because as a culture,
I think that's what I agree with that. I agree with that, and I think that's what the do you understand that how most people get that conflated with each other when we had these conversations?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so with culture, there comes language. There's a clothing, you know, traditional garbs and an image. And the issue is that here in America, so much of that we have in America is that we, as far as you would consider traditional garb, isn't even ours. You know, people associate Jordans and stuff with black. We don't own Jordans. We didn't invent that. You know what I mean? Like that's not ours. But we covet it as synonymous with us. You know, a certain image and style and fashion. Like the closest thing we have to a culture here would be hip hop. But how much of that is actually ours?
You want to know like the biggest thing, right? So I was watching a documentary on the Lakota Indians versus the United States, right? So the Lakota kept fighting and kept winning these battles against the cavalries. So what the United States decided to do was to take 80% of their children and take them and put them in their schools and give them Christianity and ban them from using anything that was traditionally theirs as far as language, dress, anything. So after a while, they began to lose their culture and started to assimilate, which is the same thing that we do. We go to their schools, we go to their churches. I don't care if it's a black church or whatever, it's still ran by them because it's ran by the government. They're only going to say certain things because if they say certain things, they're going to lose their status. So we don't have a culture here. There is no such thing as a black culture. There's no such thing as black people. We are just out here running mindless because we have no direction. And it hurts to see it, and people try to defend it. But it's like it's the very people that they put in front of you. Like I mentioned, the Boule was started to separate those from the ones that were trying to get up under, from up under the oppressor, like the Marcus Garveys. So that was the buffer. So we run to the people that's in the Boule, the frats, the sororities, the churches, all these different type of things that has the link to that, and expect for something else to happen when those very people are keeping us in bondage because they're serving their master. It's the same thing as like you run to the house Negro, expecting for them to help you when they're only going to do is fucking tell on you. It's the exact same thing.
Well, like I said, man,
real quick.
I did agree with one thing.
An update on the election, because we do an election watch. An update on the election. We got Kamala Harris is at 91 electoral votes, and Donald Trump is at 195 electoral votes. And if it continues this way, he's projected to win. It is 7:30 here in California. 7:23 in California. So the polls will be getting ready to close fairly soon. The next 35 minutes, we're gonna have another set of polls closing. I think they're gonna be closing in New Mexico, areas like that. New Mexico. What's over here? I can't even think of it. But you dig what I'm saying. It's on the freaking screen right there. Oh, right there on the screen, they had it at 207. Huh?
Hey Tim,
Yes.
do you remember that book that
Yeah.
was telling us about like the rules of what you had to do to become president? That you have to be in certain groups and certain societies. It was at my parents' house. So you gotta think like way back in the day.
I think there was a book that it was up in one of them in the closet somewhere in the cut.
Right.
I can't remember the name of it, but I vaguely remember what you're talking about.
You vaguely remember, right? So do you think that she's a part of any of that? Is she a part of that lineage?
Absolutely. Even if she isn't even a blood lineage, because there has been, I think, 5 to 6 presidents that weren't related. But at the same time, like you mentioned before, she's a part of the sorority fraternity situation. So she's taken, she's made her loyalties known. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that I be saying all the time, like we were talking about earlier. People focus in on issues that they feel like are important to them at a ground level. Because if you're an hourly employee, then you're only focused on a ground level. You're like, this is what I want you to do for me. And if that person does that for you at the ground level, that's all that's the entirety of your world, is that ground level. So anything that happens in this little circle for you is all that matters. What they do outside of that bubble that benefits them as the ruling class, you can't fathom it. For example, that John does Jonell does he has a tax firm, right? And he was explaining to me how during COVID, like people were so geeked, like, oh, I got my $1,200 check. I got my $1,200 check. Well, he was like, you know what the politicians and all the business owners were getting, the millionaires were getting? They were getting millions of dollars in stimulus. So while you over there, like, I got my $1,300, they over there getting millions of dollars in taxpayer money. Like he was explaining to me this morning how how Elon Musk and all of them say they don't pay taxes. The reason why they don't pay taxes is because, one, they don't take a salary, because once their business gets to a certain amount, they stop giving themselves a salary and they start taking loans on their assets, and a loan is tax-free, and they don't have to pay the loan back at that level until they die. It just pays itself back. But basically, for example, say a person makes $10 million a year and they file taxes and they owe back $100,000 that they have to pay out of their own money. So what they'll do is they'll find like a tax credit. So, boom, I found a tax credit. If you donate and invest into Native American reservations, you receive $100,000 tax credit. So what they'll do is they'll invest $75,000 into the Indian reservation, the Native American reservation. And then when they file their taxes, instead of owing $100,000, they now get $100,000 tax refund that's paid by American tax dollars. And they spent 75, and now they made 25 grand in tax money. And so effectively, the working class supplements the income for the elite class. That's how the system of this country we live in works. So as long as there is a middle class, the taxes from the middle class will fund and supplement the income of the upper class. And
Yeah, that's funny because that's crazy as hell because I was looking at different like tax things this morning, like tax for like tax loopholes and stuff like that. So pretty much like how you were saying like the what was that the 1040, right? Is that like the basic like the taxes for like the employee?
yeah, the W-2.
Yeah, the W-2, like you file your W-2 as a 1040, and if it was like
Yeah,
a 1099, that pretty much mean like you're like a contractor, right?
contractor.
So when you look for tax breaks, you don't get tax breaks as the 1040. You get
Yeah,
tax breaks as the 1099 as the corporations dealing with corporations, right? So let's say you file a corporation under your all caps because your name is not all like are not all caps. Like the stuff that they give you is all caps, like your driver's license, social security number, and like the mail that comes in your name, but it's all caps. If you get corporations in that and then start to file under and just you could take advantage of these same type of tax laws
you don't
that
even
these
have to.
people take
You
care.
don't even have to go incorporate it. You can just DBA and get an EIN number and benefit from a lot of that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's like
Yeah.
those are the things that need to be talked about. Like and like not just
Yeah,
saying like,
that's
oh,
what I was taught.
it's like not just saying like the tax laws and like as far as an employee, for damn the employee, you can be a corporation, have another corporation hire you, and you're still working for them, but you're under a 1099. Even like with like damn near we
Well,
work for Orkin.
that's the thing. Under the law, a corporation is a person. A lot of
Correct.
people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. Under the
Hey,
law, a corporation is a person.
read the 14th Amendment. Like the 14th Amendment is the one that they say that stopped the Scott versus Sanford, where it says like, oh, it made black people citizens, but it doesn't say anything about black people, Negroes, colors, or African Americans, anything in there. It says persons. Persons is a corporation. You are absolutely correct.
The 14th Amendment says all persons or nationalized individual, which says all persons born or nationalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction, therefore, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any citizen of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law, or deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections under the law. And we see that. How does that not apply to people of color? A person of color has their, and this is what I was talking about earlier, how we have this victims mentality, because there are still Negroes today that will say, the white man ain't gonna let us have nothing. Like, no, if you want to go to school, you can just go enroll. If you if you want to start a business, you could just go do what you have to do and follow the necessary steps to start a bit. Ain't nobody stopping nobody from doing anything. No one's stopping nobody. We have those equal protections under the law, but we've convinced ourselves that we don't. That's the issue. We perpetuate within ourselves that we are what they told us we are. We are second rate. We are second, third rate citizens because they told us that's who we are, and we believed it. Belief, if you hip to how religion works, belief is a hell of a drug. If you can get somebody to believe something, you have done a magical, powerful thing. Because if you can convince somebody that they are nothing when they are something, You the coldest Mickey Ficky around. There's nothing.
Hey,
There's nothing that stops. There's nothing that stops you, me, or any other person from going down to the register, the county register, getting a fictitious business name, calling the IRS, filing for an EIN. Anybody can do that. It don't matter what color you are, race, creed, or none of that. Nothing stopping nobody. There is no law that say, "Oh, well, you black, so you're not a citizen. You can't do that." That don't exist, bro. It's
nah,
all up here. It's all up here. It's
and
all up here.
matter of fact, since you're on that EIN, it's like when you read the back of your social security card, it doesn't say you're not supposed to hand it out to nobody. So you should have a fucking EIN.
Right.
Not give people your damn social security number.
Right. Right, because that's your
Well, that makes
operating
sense, fellas.
business class. Right. Let me let's see where we are in this election. We didn't kind of oh shit. Trump only needs 60 more, and he the president. Let me look at some other news outlets and see what some other news outlets say.
That poll a little lagging, but from what I'm looking at on the television,
CNN
it's not far
has
off.
it
Hold
at
on, wait a minute.
CNN has it at 91 Harris, 195 Trump. Oh, this one just updated. 210 Trump, 91 Harris. Fox News
Trump.
is gonna, Fox 10 News is gonna say what they want to say. Oh, I'm surprised Fox News actually has it less than what we have on the screen. Fox News has it at 117 Kamala, 205 Trump. I'm surprised they gave Kamala that much. I would have thought
It was
Fox
being
News,
nice. They being nice right now. They being nice, you know.
as long as she behind him, they don't care, right? Look at the Senate. Look at the
NBC
Senate.
right now got it at
Wait,
91-10 right
wait.
now.
Look at the Senate. The Senate looks like it's gonna go red. The House of Representatives look like it's gonna go red. So it looks like we're gonna have a Republican Congress.
House.
So we have a Republican because Congress is the Senate and the House together. So if both of those go red and Trump becomes president, people need to understand that anything Trump wants to do is going to happen. They're going to pass whatever is presented. That's going to happen. This is a pivotal thing to understand. So if we want to entertain the idea of Project 2025 with a Republican president and a Republican Congress, the reality of that coming to fruition is a possibility.
It's a really extreme possibility. I would say right now the projections in Philadelphia, and I'm sorry, Pennsylvania, is looking mighty red, man. It's looking like blood diamonds out here. I'm just saying. Like what you know, Pennsylvania usually go blue, but it's looking mighty red out here. You know, it's looking mighty red. I'm just saying. That's the projection. They only counted 50% of the votes. But it's looking mighty red. No, 55. I'm sorry, 55% of the votes. They don't count it. But you know, it's still projected red out this bitch. You know, and back to the people out there that's watching. I don't think nobody on this panel right now at the moment is leaning towards red or blue. But we just calling it like we see it, and we just seeing it's written in dye. It's written in blood diamonds out here. It's red. It's bloody shoes,
Anybody
right?
watching wants to come up and make a claim for your side, feel free. But I kind of think looking at these projections, there's a lot of sick people out there in the world right now that was pro Kamala, and yeah, they pretty sick. And like I said, this was just my personal opinion. I think come later on tonight, I'm just talking about the black community and this emphasis on my opinion only. It's gonna be a lot of our brothers ain't gonna get none tonight because if she lose, because you didn't vote to support her. There's gonna be a lot of that going on, bro. That's just my personal opinion. It's gonna be a
Man,
lot of when it come to these tomorrow's podcast. It's gonna be a whole like the man's fear, the male extremists. Oh man, it's gonna be a field day, man. It's gonna be a field day. I think the back chat gonna be a little extra quiet than it has been being too.
Well, yeah, especially if he win, the bad chance is gonna get a little quiet. I think the expectation. This is my projection of uh, the wonderful Donald winning this election. And if he win, I do think that what men thinking that he would do for them is not going to be on the level that that they think is going to happen. I think the reforms that they want is just not going to happen because it didn't happen before. One thing that we keep talking about is, Harris had her run as a vice president and she didn't do things. So Trump had his run as a president and he didn't do things. So for this redemption hour in 4 years for Trump, if Project 2025 is not a thing, would be very would be like a redemption song for him. But for her, it would be more like a triumph. It's history making. She'd be the first president. We're not going to say black president. We're just going to say female president. She would be the first female president and things of that nature. But I will throw my jab, and my jab is this. This is just my jab, and I would say that it's kind of fucked up that Trump keep winning when he's going against female candidates and not so much as male candidates. And I'm not even saying that these female candidates, look, I'm just going to say it. This is just has to be said. It's not that the female candidates are better. It's just, that's the only time that dude won. So there's that. And I put down my mic. Kick me out.
but he also lost on
Man,
it.
that's the truth.
Like
No, he won.
He only lost to Biden.
No, he only lost to Biden. He won over Hillary.
Yeah, but Biden had a female. What do you mean?
Biden had a female win.
What, as a vice president? That don't.
Oh, vice president. Yeah, that's vice president. Yeah, that's different.
It don't matter. What are you talking about? It was still the same ploy. It was still the exact same tool. Whether she president or vice.
I get what you're saying, but the head of the ticket is what they were looking at. They were looking at the Hillary Clinton.
The head of the ticket. You got to look at what it is. Like, period. Biden was vice president for Obama, and motherfuckers love Obama. Then he come up with somebody who they associate themselves to, especially a fucking woman. So of course come on, man. It's the exact same thing.
People get pissed off at me when I point out, we recently did a show on DEI. You know what that is, Percy? DEI.
No, I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so DEI is an initiative to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. So DEI is when they got rid of affirmative action, they replaced it with DEI, which is just basically affirmative action on steroids. So when Biden came out and said he was going to pick his VP, he explicitly said, "I want a black woman, and I'm going to have a black woman." So the first qualification that was needed for that person that he chose to be his vice president had to be a black woman. So that became a racial selection. That became a diversity selection. Not who was best fitted for the job, but I want a black woman. So okay, he go to these black women. Okay, boom, we're gonna pick this. And I remember the primary election. The person on the screen right here, Kamala Harris. She fell out of the primary with 8% support. 8%. So that's basically nothing in political terms. That's nobody. So how did this woman that in the primary elections nobody stood behind, 8%, and now all of a sudden for this election she has everybody's support? But clearly, looking at these numbers right here on the screen that we see right now, apparently they remember that they didn't support her.
Yeah, back to me saying that, it's just very poetic that this dude only wins when his candidate his running mate is a female,
When his opponent, not his running mate, but
That's
his
the only time he went. His opponent. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I heard you. His opponent. When his opponent is a female, I just think I think that's very interesting. And I'm only saying this because I said this starting off in this live, that I don't think America itself is ready for a female president. I don't think they care what color she is. She could be fucking yellow in the joint. I don't think they care. I just don't think they're ready for a female president. You know, I think that's a lot for Americans to deal with, especially with the gender war came up.
They'll probably have a female president after they have like a female chief of defense or something like that. I'm not sure if that's the right title, but somebody has to be high up in the military. That's a female. Like, what was that one dude that?
Like
I think the reason why that America right now, I don't know in the next like 5 or 6 years, but just right now, I don't think America is ready for a female president because it just spent almost 2 to 3 years on social media, and I'm only talking about social media alone. And I mean on all fucking platforms, having the worst gender war I ever seen in my millennial experience. So I just think I always thought that when I was in these social media streets that it was always a ploy for something else. Like I understand this is how men may feel, how women may feel, feminist movement, this, blah blah blah. What I get that, but the way that it was just deploying itself came like a ploy for the bigger picture, and I think this was one of the bigger pictures in actuality when a female will or not have to, but will run for presidency or anything that's that damn big, where it would be a little bit deplorable for men to want to vote for her, especially when the climate feels like that on the social media streets. This is just my opinion. This is just my opinion. But I just did not think that America is not ready for that shit yet. You could tell by how they think about.
Well, hold on, real quick. This is a commercial that she put out to target men, and P, as a man, I want to hear your, because I know how I felt when I seen it. It's only 1 minute and 30 seconds long. I want to see how and I want your 2 cents too, Morphine. Does this seem like something that encourages or discourages men?
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500 and braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
All right, how you feel? How you feel about that joint?
I'm man enough to say that that was bullshit. That's what I'm saying.
Oh wow. You know, I think that was, if I was in the room and I seen that commercial, I would have been like, next, no, not that one. Oh no, not that one. You know,
Now,
you basically
how
like the
does that
manosphere is
convert?
going to think that you're emasculating them by telling them what a man is. So there's that. Like I'm just saying.
Like that was the most unmanly representation of men ever. One dude said, "I'm a deep throat something." He said, "He said I'm man enough to deep throat endorse you." Like, wait, what? Y'all did y'all see that? Catch that part?
What?
Yeah. One
I
dude
didn't.
was
And
like,
then that's another thing I want to say. Like two of them dudes was queer. Like you know, two of them
"Oh yeah,
dudes was
you can see
queer.
that
I don't
too."
even they count and shit. Like you know, I don't think the queer dudes count. You know, you gotta like eliminate them from that commercial.
They had a dude on there like
Yeah,
my size
but I
talking about
think
I
that
can
was a good
deadlift
commercial to
500
get.
pounds. Like I think that commercial absolutely
But
pushed men
someone
away.
did ask one of Donald Trump's. I think one of the people asked Donald Trump's representatives what was some of the things that they tried to do to get the female vote, and he couldn't answer that question too much. You know, I wonder what Donald Trump vote, a like little commercial for the female vote looked like. Like, what did that look like? Was it as ridiculous as hers? Like
I can
that
see if
shit
I
was
can find one.
that was corny. Man up. That's what they see. You know, their administration say dumb shit like that. Like if you're not black, I mean, if you ain't vote for Biden, you're not black or some shit. Like what? Like why would you say that? Where was the black people in at during this meeting when y'all was coming up with things to say?
Yeah, I was straight bullshit.
We say Donald Trump say fuck shit, and I'm not a Donald fan. I'm not a Harris fan, but we say Donald Trump say fuck shit. But at least it's direct. Theirs be like indirect fuck shit, and you like what?
Right. Like his is like right there in your face. Like you either accept it or you don't. Which is like cool to me.
The direct fuck shit Percy is cool to you versus the indirect.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't,
because you know who you're dealing with.
I personally was saying before, I don't, and also I can't find no ads because I don't think Trump put out any ads on her. But that's what I was saying before, is that you know when it comes to down to this election, like every other election that's in this country, we boil down to this two-party system. We're basically choosing the lesser of two evils. And in this case, we had the devil you know, which is Trump, and the devil you don't know, which is Kamala. Because in her campaign, she fell off because she was flip-flopping on issues. She couldn't freaking hold an interview that wasn't scripted or had a teleprompter. And you know, this time around, we saw that again when she. So it's like no one knew who she was, and then the whole is she even black and all of that came in. It's like, well, why would she lie about that? It was just too much controversy surrounding her in a negative way for this to go any other way than what it is.
To me, I feel it's a setup. I really think like what's the next election? 2024, 25,
28. No, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9, 29?
No, because this is election 2024. So yeah, 28.
So I think by then, bro, you might have like a how Maureen was saying, like the female president. Now imagine this. Imagine you have a female that's running for president that's a transsexual.
That's a man.
Hey, I'm just saying.
But no, that's an argument that I make all the time because there's a person in the back chat that's talks about, you know, the whole argument that a trans woman is a woman. And I'm like, yeah, I respect their opinion, but I also have my viewpoint as well. And that person was just adamant about boom boom. I was like, okay, so if Congress, if all what is it, like 300 and something seats of Congress are all transgender women, is that all female Congress? And that person got stuck, was like, like, right. Like, so you really think a room full of people with penises are going to understand, even though they identify as a woman, they're going to understand women's rights and women's experiences? That's when the reality of it will set in. Because, like I said, how they believe they are and how they feel, they are 100% within the right to do that. But
Absolutely.
but biologically, there's just differences. We are different, and I don't understand why that is such a difficult thing, reality to accept. Like hormones play a big part, and the reality plays a big part of what it
I
is.
think it's a slippery slope.
Man, the same way they'll use biology to make their point and say, well, brain scans show
I
that
think it's a slippery slope. I think if you if you allow this to happen, that the transgenders will that anybody could claim anything. Like at any given time, a man could just be like, you know what, I'm a transgender today, or a female could be like, you know what, I'm a trans man today. And one of the conversations I had with one of the transgender males that define masculinity and what masculinity means and how it doesn't have to fit a certain female phenotype or whatever. And I was like, well, trans women never try to change the phenotype of women. This you all agree this is what women do, this is how women act, this is femininity, this is feminine. So they're not trying to change, they're not trying to they're not trying to have beards and say, yo, you know what, I'm a female, this is feminine. You can't tell me what is feminine. Like, they're not doing that. But this person was definitely sitting there in my face trying to tell me that masculinity could be whatever the fuck you make it. And I'm like, see, that's not how it works. And this is why I said this is a slippery slope, my dear, because you want to be considered him, her. Now the new thing is they and them, which is how the fuck
That's a plural.
we're gonna get into that later. But you want to be exclusively set to be, yeah, like how can you be them and they? Like, what, you got multiple personalities in there? That could be clinically what is that, personality disorder. So we just not going to get in, and that is when I say it's a slippery slope. You're going to slip your ass into a mental disability or mental diagnoses in a fucking minute. That's what's going to happen. Or the people that
Right.
want to be called they or them are going to be like, well, listen, I didn't
The
mean
next set
that
of polls close in
the
3 minutes, y'all.
molesters and the rapers, the rapers, that have rights too. So they just don't understand how many doors that shit opens when you can identify with whatever the fuck you want to, with no with no type of, this is how it should be. There's no phenotype. It could be anything.
The scariest part is that they get new birth certificates.
Yeah, that's the new thing they added. California started that. And that's the thing, like when I talk to some people that live in California about a lot of these issues, I tell them to their face, like, you do know that you're brainwashed. And they're like, wait, what do you mean that I'm brainwashed? There's like you, so you don't think when it comes to women's reproductives that this, da, 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 da. I'm like when Roe v. Wade was overturned, how did that affect California? And they get quiet. California ain't missed a beat. It had absolutely zero effect on California. When they immigration bills passed, when
Same
they
here
were
with Pennsylvania.
yeah, when they passed immigration bills, that didn't affect California. California, Gavin Newsom actually he surprised a lot of people because he shot down a bill that they were going to pass that was going to give immigrants $25,000 for housing. That was just free money, and he shot it down. And the reason why he shot it down is because those of us that follow this political realm know that he was supposed to be the candidate and not her. He just wasn't ready because California was in such bad shape that in a debate, everybody would have whooped his ass. They'd have whooped his ass. Gavin, you got the state with the highest homelessness. What are you talking? How you gonna say you know how to govern some shit? You can't even manage the homeless. You got over 1 million homeless people in your state. You got the highest influx of immigrants from the southern border. You got you got the highest housing costs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got the highest crime. Like, he just wasn't in the position to be the candidate. And clearly she wasn't either. Look at these numbers. 91 to 210. And he got the popular vote by 5 million. He's winning the popular vote by 5 million. There ain't no way you're gonna come out and say this man cheated. If they come out, because they're gonna recount these votes. They're gonna recount these votes, I guarantee. And if they come back and say that he lost, I'm calling conspiracy. All right, boom. It just jumped up. California just came in. She's at 145 now. California polls just closed at 8 o'clock Pacific time. California just came through. She's at 145, which is still a huge freaking distance from 270. Fox News has her at 193 and has Trump at 216. That's Fox News. CNN has her at 145 and Trump at 211. And what we have on the screen right now, NBC has her at, well, what did I say earlier? Because I gotta wait for the
She
screen
just
to
won
come.
California.
Right, she just won California. I'm waiting on it to come right back up. 145 to 214. Man, the whole map is almost red. So we got the battleground state we waiting on. We gonna wait on Georgia. We gotta wait on Georgia. We gotta wait on North Carolina. We gotta wait on Virginia. We gotta wait on Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania didn't close like I thought it had earlier because they posed closed, but they still counting. We gotta wait on Michigan. We waiting on Wisconsin, Minnesota, New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada. And when it comes to the House of Representatives, it looks like it's going red, and the Senate look like it's going red too. So we're gonna have a red Congress and a red president. Woo wee. Man, the back chat is quiet right now. It's a lot of people upset. Yeah, they real quiet in the back chat.
Back chat is like you can hear a rat piss on cotton in them bad chats, man. It's so quiet. Oh, I'm going to say that maybe we need to end this, John. I mean, we almost at the 2-minute mark anyway. We're 10 minutes away from the 2-minute mark. So
2 hour mark. 2 hour mark. Yeah, we getting up, we pushing up on the
2 hour mark. They always go over.
Right, we can always go over, but I don't think there's because we're not going live until midnight when the polls officially close. We're not doing that. we not doing that. We not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because the next, if I'm like, we on the West Coast now. If California closes polls, that means it's one more hour will be for midnight on the East Coast, but midnight on the West Coast
It's
will be
11 o'clock
that's what I said. It's another
right now
hour.
on the East Coast. The polls been closed, baby. They're closed.
Right, but no, but that's what I'm saying. It's only 8 o'clock here. So we got another 3 hours until midnight here. You see, that's what I'm saying. So and that'll be 3 in the morning for you. We're not doing that.
Right.
We're not doing that. So I'm like,
Yeah,
if you wanna, I'm like, if you want, we can shut it down now and we can do a recap, later on. But it's looking like it's gonna be a Trump presidency, but we never know because, like I said, I believe they're gonna be some serious recounts going on. It's gonna be a lot of people hurting.
I could try to shoot for it. I say let's end this joint right now. Because we ain't gonna get a full consensus till later on.
Till a few days
Later
anyway.
on.
Yeah.
Let's try to set up a show for Let's try to set up a show for Saturday. I get off early. My time. It's like 6 o'clock my time, like a little earlier. I know you off on the weekends, so it'll work out for us. We could do like a little expeditious show. Yeah, I mean, get a little reaction of the election and things of that nature. Maybe we'll have a lot more people on the panel because I know everybody is just stuck at their television right now.
Yeah, everybody watching the TV right now. Like I said, a lot of people pissed. They probably they don't even want to deal with it. They're dealing with their reality shutting down. They don't want to talk to like I said, but I feel bad for a lot of men out here in the world because
all right. Well, let's give them a couple of days.
All right, let's go ahead and and end it down. And we're gonna plan. Oh, Percy just came back. You got any final thoughts, Percy, before we get ready to shut down in the 2-hour mark? You got any final thoughts?
I just say study the Constitution, bro. Study your laws. Get to know what's really happening and not listening to these people that they put in front of you. Like, I don't want to say names, but just do some research. Stop following people that they presenting to you to follow. That's it.
All right. Okay, Morphine, you got any final thoughts?
My final thoughts is, listen, I support the people and what the people pick. I have my thoughts on what I feel as though may hinder us if either one of these parties win. And I'm more I would say geared to to wonder what would the people thoughts and opinions be after all is said and done. Whether Trump win, which in my opinion, I think he's going to win. It's like I said, it's raining blood diamonds out here, so I think he's going to win. And I would like to get the people opinions on what their thoughts and how they feel. This time, I really want to know how you feel. Other times in the shows, we just want to know the facts. But the next show, if we can do it on Saturday, we just want to know your feelings and your opinions on what happened. Now that you got time, you like 2 or 3 days to think about it, ponder, let it sit in your spirit and give your thoughts. That's my last, remarks.
All right, and my last remarks are going to be to don't pay it to say don't get too caught up in these presidential elections. As you see on the screen right there, the Senate, that's where you want to focus in your local elections, your local congressman, your state senator, your House of Representatives. That's going to pop up next. Because like Percy mentioned earlier, there are 3 branches of government, and the legislation branch are the branch that actually make the laws, not the president, not the executive branch. It is the legislation branch, and that branch is who writes these laws, that present these laws and vote on these laws, and they vote on them based on you know, because you put this senator in office to represent you. They're your representative, so they're gonna vote for what they feel is best for you. So you want to put people in those seats, in those positions that align more so with what you believe if you want to have certain things happen. This presidential these presidents, they just political celebrities. That's all it is. And that's my final thought right there.
Well, it's been nice talking to you guys. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for watching. Till hopefully Saturday, where we can get your reactions on today's verdict of the elections. Till
Right.
then,
By Saturday they'll certify the election, so we will know who is the president, because they're gonna announce the president elect tonight.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're giving y'all some time to sit and let that settle in your spirit, whether you against it, whether you for it, whether it was it was exactly how you thought it would be. We want those opinions. We want to know how you feel. Till next time, people. Saturday. Come back.
All right.